Parliament Session number 1.
So may we invite Honorable Member of the Parliament, Ustaz Ali Sulaiman, to lead us in invocation. And after that, followed by National Anthem and Bangsamoro hymn.
Miyag ang ano din. Miyag alang din lang. Agad mirror ka, hindi ko man sa speaker. Ang pa dahil sa mirror ka jet lane. Si floor leader. Floor leader.
Dito bisa ko niya, ano?
Inabi ko niya, no, kabay ka mas makakuha na, mapumasa ka sa speaker ka.
استعين إن الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى. اللهم اهدنا إلى ما فيه خير وسلاح لأمة الإسلام ولبنسمور يا الله إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. آتنا في الدنيا حسنة في الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين الحمد لله.
Mga kabayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisikin, sa dagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mo pagaw, ay hinatang tulang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magdidinig. Lumalang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Ang inigaya na pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Simula noon hanggang ngayon, isa ang naging layon. Magkaisa at magbuklod, karitingan ay marugtong. Tumayo tayo mula sa hamon ng nakaraan, niyapos ang panganib na umaanlang. Pinangako sa puso at paniniwala, ang ginhawa para sa kabataan. Bangsamoro ay tagumpay, bunga ng pawis, sugo at buhay. Kapayapaan, katarungan, ay ating nang nakamtan. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, pagpalain di sa puso't isipan. Ang kahapong humintay na nagbuwis ng buhay, nasa piling na ng may kapal. Bangsamoro'y tagumpay, bunga ng pawis, sugo at buhay. Kapayapaan, katarungan, ay atin ang nakamtan. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, pagpalaing Bangsamoro.
Secretary General, can you do roll call to determine the quorum?
Roll call, honorable members of BTA Parliament, Abbas Ahmad, Abbas Harun, Abbas Basit, Abu Mujib, Adjong Rasdi, Alamia Laisa,
Present.
Mosber, Ali Lalang Jr., Ambulodto Soharto, Kapatuan Baintan, Anak Susana, Antaw Muhammad Kelly, Antok Tumanda, Asarul Haber, Asnawi Idan, Balindong Ahmad Amir, Bayan Zulfikar Ali,
Present.
Kandaw Ma'ruf, Kutan Otto Salim, Dilanggalan Hashimi,
Present.
Alba Shah Ilayha, Ibil Muhammad Nazir, Ismail Soharto, Estino Matarun, Gayak Amiruddin, Gera Edward, Haji Abdullah Khalid, Hasim Abdullah, Hasan Hatimil, Hataman Abrar,
Present.
Ibrahim, Iqbal Muhagger, Ismail Rasul, Juri Raisa, Chikiri Saripuddin,
Present.
Ran Kitam Jr., Karon Bayali, Karon Faisal, Lim John Anthony,
Present.
Long Benjamin,
Present.
Long Don Mustafa, Lorena Jose, Makakuha Abdurrauf, Makapahar Abdullah,
Present.
Malang Butch Jr., Montalvo Balan, Mastura Eshak, Matalan Japar Apollo Mikael, Mendoza Prilin, Mitimbag Michael, Mitimbang Kal, Miswari Abdul Karim,
Present.
Nurreda,
Present.
Present.
Mitmog Rasol Jr., Mundir Ali Rakim, Munoz Hussein, Moranon Saib, Akasam Ubaida, Pagayaw Alindato, Pat Abdul Wahab, Arcasio Randolph, Piang Ramon Sr., Rakim Amir Jakaria,
Present.
Salindab Said, Salik Ali, Sema Omar Yasser, Sema Romeo, Sheikh Said, Solarimbo Nagib, Sinulinding Kadil Jr., Sulaiman Ali, Sumagayan Aminuddin, Tan Nabil,
Present.
Asbar, Royod Siti Vahani, Yakub Muhammad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Uy, di ko kakuha eh. Yes, ka audio one.
25 members of the parliament physically present and 20 MPs joining via Zoom, and a total of 45 members of the parliament responded to the call. We therefore certify the presence of quorum. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There's certification of quorum. So the parliament session number 112 is proceed in its business. Floor Leader.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على ما لا نبي بعد أما بعد. To the Chief Minister, Honorable Adolf Makakua, Speaker of the Parliament, Muhammad S. Yaqub, Deputy Speakers, Floor Leader, Deputy Floor Leaders, Members of the Parliament, Secretariat, Staff, visitors in the gallery, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, we are on the reading and approval of the journal. We move to the October 21 to 2005 session, and I further move for the approval of the same.
And I second. So the journal number 3 of August 2025 session and journal number 7 of October 21, 2025 session is referred. So, Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the body is now in the period of recognition, commendations, memorials, messages, and communication. We would like to call and recognize Honorable Floor Leader Attorney Anthony Lim, who wishes to deliver his message and to have the floor, Mr. Speaker.
Can you first suspend the session to invite our
Yes, Mr. Chair.
deputies?
Floor Leader.
Yes, again, Mr. Chair, may be recognized. Anthony Lim, attorney. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The gentleman from Tawi-Tawi is recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Floor Leader. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. There seems to be some confusion. I'm supposed to. Thus, with that, I respectfully at this moment. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. My apologies for this confusion.
And we also apologize for that miscommunication, Mr. Chair. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our first reference of business are the bills on the first reading, which are 11 bills in total. May we request the Secretariat to read the first BTA bill, Parliament Bill number 362, together with its title, names, and authors, and the names of the authors.
Since this is just first reading, we will allow the Secretariat to read all bills on first reading. Wala pa namang, there's still no referral here.
No referral, first reading.
No, we will just direct the Secretariat to read all bills on first reading.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, just for reading.
Please read all bills on first reading, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 362 entitled An Act Establishing the Integrated Bangsamoro Greening Program, providing for its implementation, institutional framework, and appropriating funds therefore. Author, Member of Parliament Alindato Pagayo. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Tamanda Antok, Kitam Gadatuan Jr., Maruf Kandao, Abdul Basit Benito, Butch Malang, Ahmad Najir Ibil, Nagib Sinarimbo, and Ibrahim Ibay. BTA Parliament Bill number 389 entitled An Act Prohibiting the Manufacture, Importation, Distribution, Sale, and Use of Single-Use Plastics in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, providing for a transition period, establishing implementation mechanisms, and for other purposes. Author, Member of Parliament Amir Jakaria Rakim. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Aminuddin Sumagayan, Ali Rakim Mondir, Rasli Adjong, and Ahmed Amir Balindong. BTA Parliament Bill number 390 entitled An Act Mandating the Advance Release of Salaries in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region when payday falls on a weekend or holiday and for other purposes. Author, Member of Parliament Kitam Kalatuan Jr. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Nagib Sinarimbo, Tawakal Mitimbang, Michael Mitimbang, Tumanda Antok, Ali Ibrahim Ibay, and Japara Polo Mikael Matalam. BTA Parliament Bill number 391 entitled An Act Establishing in the Municipality of Datu Saudi Ampatuan, Province of Maguindanao del Sur, a Level 1 25-bed capacity general hospital known as Datu Saudi Ampatuan Municipal Hospital, providing funds thereof and for other purposes. Author, Member of Parliament Kitam Kadatuan Jr. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Nagib Sinarimbo, Tawakal Mintimbang, Michael Mintimbang, Tumanda Antok, Alindato Pagayaw, Kadil Sinulinding Jr., Abdul Basit Benito, Maruf Kandao, Ibrahim Ibay, and Japara Polo Mikael Matalam. BTA Parliament Bill number 392 entitled An Act providing one-time death benefits to the families of Bangsamoro Islamic Armed Forces Shahid, establishing the BF Shahid Benefit Investment Fund and appropriating funds therefore. Author, Member of Parliament Kitum Kalatuan Jr. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Nagib Sinarimbo, Tawakal Mitimbang, Michael Mitimbang, Tumanda Antok, Alindato Pagayaw, Kadel Sinulinding Jr., Abdul Basit Benito, Maruf Kandao, Ibrahim Ibay, and Japara Polo Mikael Matalam. BTA Parliament Bill number 393 entitled An Act Converting the Matanog World Assembly of Muslim Youth Clinic in the Municipality of Matanog, Province of Maguindanao del Norte, into a Level 1 hospital with 10-bed capacity to be known as the Matanog District Hospital, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Author, Members of Parliament Abdurrauf Makakua and Boots Malang. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Tumanda Antok, Kadel Sinolinding Jr., Kitam Kadatuan Jr., Nagib Sinarimbo, Abdul Basit Benito, Muhammad Najir Ibil, Alindato Pagayaw, Bahintan ng Patuan, and Tawakal Mitimbang. BTA Parliament Bill number 394 entitled An Act Institutionalizing Development Assistance to Bangsamoro People and Communities outside the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, refining its implementing mechanism, providing funds therefore. Author, Members of Parliament Hussein Munoz, Omar Yasser Sema, Abdullah Makapaar, Soharto Ismail, Said Sheikh, Mataro Listino, Amiruddin Gayak, Abdul Karim Miswari, Faisal Karon, and Bay Ali Karon. BTA Parliament Bill number 395 entitled An Act Amending Article 7, Section 14 of the Bangsamoro Electoral Code and for other purposes. Authors, Members of Parliament Randolph Parcasio, Abdul Karim Miswari, Nurreda Miswari, Saripudin Chikiri, Romeo Sema, Nabil Tan, and Jose Lorena. Co-author, Member of Parliament Hatimil Hasan. BTA Parliament Bill number 309 ballot in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, amending for the purpose Section 14, Article 7 of the Bangsamoro Autonomy Act number 35, otherwise known as the Bangsamoro Electoral Code of 2023. Authors and Salim Kadatuan Jr., Tumanda Antok, Alindato Pagayaw, Suwato, and Hasime Delanggalan. Parliament Bill number 400 entitled An Act for New Plantilla Position of the Bangsam Muslim for the purpose Bangs Act number 13 and therefore Anthony Lim Nabil Hussein Dan number 411 entitled An Act Providing Creation of Parliamentary Districts in the Bangsamoro and
See the bills on the second reading.
Fire away.
Mr. Speaker, we are now on the bills on second reading. I move that we, or that the Secretariat be directed to read the BTA Parliament Bill number 45, its title and the names of the principal authors and the author.
Secretariat is directed to read the title of BTA Parliament Bill number 45, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 45 entitled Anak Upgrading the Tauhalon Sakilan Memorial Hospital into a level 2 hospital, increasing its bed capacity. Release of its medical personnel and appropriating funds, therefore. Nilim, Eddie, Ali, and Suharto Ambulugto. Co-authors, members of Parliament, Baintan Lambatuan, Liza Lamia, Don Mustafa Loong, Rasol Mitmug Jr., Rasol Ismail, Romeo Sema, Susana Nayatin, Basir Uto, Siti Pahani Uyoyon, Michael Mitimbang, Adspar Usman, Ibrahim Ali, Hussein Munoz, Said Sheikh Kadil Sinulinding Jr., Japar Apollo Mikael Matalam, Muslimin Jakilan, Jamila Ramos, Aaron Abbas, Basit Abbas, Tarhata Maglangit, Jose Medilanggalan, Jose Lorena, Ali Sanki, Randolph Parcasio, and Khalid Haji Abdullah.
Floor Leader, may I just raise a point of order here? I'll just present it to the floor. There are names here that are longer solicit any ID on this situation. What does our rule state on this matter?
May I be recognized, Honorable Speaker?
Yes, the floor leader, you are recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. For this particular bill, indeed, one of the principal authors, MP Amil Bahar S. Mawalil, our former colleague, is no longer with us, as is, but I am still one of the principal authors, and so as with Attorney Teng Ambolodto. So we are pushing through with this particular piece of legislation, if I may, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Yeah, may I ask, this is not an interpellation but only a clarification. As far as MP John Anthony Lim is concerned, you are already a member of the BTA when this bill was filed?
Yes, I think so, Honorable Speaker, sir. Is that addressed to me? I'm sorry.
Yes, may we hear from the gentleman from Northern Kabuntalan? Yes, MP Ambuludto.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Leader, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, on the first on the latter question, this is bill number 45. This is filed on our second BTA,
Yes, second bit.
where Attorney Jetlim and Honorable Mawalil are both members. I think the question that was raised by from the chair was that how do we treat a resolution when its main sponsor in the course of a particular parliament on a particular session ceases to be a member. So, Mr. Speaker, my humble opinion on the matter, Mr. Speaker, is that what the floor leader and the secretariat read, Mr. Speaker, is the resolution as it was filed. So, with due respect, it's with due respect, and also as a matter of fact, this was the Honorable Mawal is one of the members. Okay, I would presume that the meat of the question is that yes, it was filed by the Honorable Amil Bahar Mawalil, but how do we proceed with it when the main proponent ceases to be a part of this august body? I would suggest in this case, there are still a lot of principal authors, and the other principal authors may then be burdened with carrying and shepherding this particular proposed legislation, Mr. Speaker. So, dalawang bagay po yun. Yung una po, it's simply a matter of fact. When it was read on second reading by our secretariat, they were simply recognizing the fact that this was filed with our Honorable Amir Bahar Mawalil as the main speaker. How do we handle it? Then it is up to the current members, particularly our senior member, our only member from the province of Tawi-Tawi, who is also named second to the Honorable Amir Bahar Mawalil, would have to be the principal actor in this particular shepherding of our proposed legislation, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, and this my question applies to all bills and resolutions experiencing the same situation.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. And then the question now that may have to be put into either resolved now or be referred, one question referred to the Committee on Rules is how do we treat when, for instance, one member, there's only one principal sponsor and there are a lot of co-authors, no other principal authors. How do we deal there? The mere fact that they were not principal authors should have indicated a distinction made from the very filing. I hope, Mr. Speaker, that that this matter be immediately referred to the Committee on Rules so that particular consultations before we present it to the plenary be made, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, and another point, because there are still bills where the good gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, Amir Bahar Mawalil, was principal author, and there are other bills here where he had also other principal authors, and yet the other principal authors are also not here. How do we proceed with this?
Mr. Speaker, one suggestion, if the floor leader would only indulge me, would be for that matter to be deferred when the other principal sponsors are already in attendance.
Yes.
Yun lang po. Yun, which we also do in other situations.
In this case, this is second reading, and there is supposed to be somebody reading the authorship or sponsorship speech among the co-author, among the principal authors. And I believe that there are bills here where they are not present right now.
Mr. Speaker, precisely our floor leader was mistakenly identified to be preparing to provide a memorial, deliver a memorial, when in fact he was ready. He was simply saying to our floor leader here that he is ready to deliver the sponsor speech.
Yeah, we take note of that because we already considered that. The point here is not all of these bills, not all bills are whose principal authors are present here right now. Not even in Zoom, not even here in the floor.
Before I yield the floor, one last moment, before I yield the floor for the recognition of the Speaker of the Honorable Abdullah, Mr. Speaker, what we can perhaps we deal with it with the floor leader on a paper to paper, on a bill to bill. That's all, Mr. Speaker. Respectfully submitted.
Yes, I was looking at the screen. The floor leader was raising his hand.
Yes, sir. For the Tawi-Tawi hospitals, I'm ready to do my sponsorship speech. For the Basilan hospitals, referring to Article 103, 106, and 108, I believe one of the principal sponsors is online, Deputy Speaker Liza Alamia.
Yes. The former floor leader, Deputy Speaker Lai Alba, you were also raising your hands.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would just like to mention that it has been already agreed that this is a continuation of the Parliament. Hence, all matters, pending matters and proceedings have not yet been terminated, regardless of whether the member of Parliament who filed a bill is still with us. I mean, still a colleague at the present Parliament or not. On that note, Mr. Presiding Officer, any MP who would like to take over the sponsorship, such as in this case, the floor leader, Attorney Lim, would have to be given the opportunity to do so. So, kumbaga pa, hindi pa po na-terminate yung mga pending bills, even if the principal author is no longer a part of this parliament. But if there is another member of parliament who wishes to take over the sponsorship, especially when he is named either as a principal author or co-author, that would be okay, Mr. Presiding Officer. Thank you for considering this position.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Speaker, may I recognize MP Abdul.
The gentleman from the SGA is recognized.
Thank you, Mrs. Speaker. If I may add, as one of the principal authors of our current rules, I cannot be 100% certain, but nevertheless, I was present in the drafting process and the deliberations of the technical working group that did the rules, including the former floor leader who just spoke. Parang yung sa rules natin on this matter po is it's silent. Mukhang hindi na-mention doon. So maganda nga na-explore natin. We can add on the rules and let's explore the rules kung ano yung pwedeng ayusin doon. And also, gusto ko lang i-point out din na yung sabi ni Deputy Speaker Attorney Lai Dumama Alba is we are continuing Parliament from BTA 2, no? Parang BTA 2.1, parang ganon. So itong mga bills na ito ay just filed during the BTA 2. And yun lang, hanapan lang natin ng way ano yung gusto nating mangyari pag in this situation. Pero pwede naman na kung sino yung mga sponsors na andito, if they prefer, pwede naman sila yung main sponsor kasi technically they are also main sponsors. Thank you.
On record, we will just treat this in the meantime as as part of the continuity of the BTA, subject to whatever discussions we will have later on these bills.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Actually, to answer the concern.
1 minute suspension. Session resumes. Floor leader.
Yeah, to proceed, Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the principal author of BTA Parliament number 45, Floor Leader MP John Anthony Lim, to deliver his sponsorship speech.
The gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, floor leader Jet Lim is recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer, Deputy Speaker Omar Semaster. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum to our brethren MPs who are physically present in Cotabato and those also joining us by Zoom, as well as our kababayan Raayat who is participating via Facebook Live, as well as I would like to thank the Honorable Speaker and the Secretariat for making this a seamless hybrid session possible. No? Also, what we are doing actually, nakalimutan ko sabihin kanina as an aside, when a particular bill or resolution is filed in the Parliament, it takes on a life of its own. No? So sometimes, regardless of the wishes or intention of the author, the disposition of a particular bill or resolution becomes the discretion now of the plenary. Anyway, I will now proceed with the permission of the presiding officer with the sponsorship speech. I rise this afternoon to sponsor BTA Bill number 45, an act upgrading Datuhalun Sakilan Memorial Hospital into a level 2 hospital, increasing its bed capacity, upgrading its services and facilities, and appropriating funds therefore. This particular measure speaks to a fundamental principle this government holds important, which is that quality healthcare is a fundamental right that every constituent of BARM must enjoy. The Tuhalon Sakilan Memorial Hospital is the primary provincial hospital serving both mainland Tawi-Tawi and our remote island municipalities. It is the first and sometimes the only point of care for emergency cases transported by boat from the other islands. Despite serving thousands, its bed capacity and equipment remain inadequate for the evolving needs of our kababayan in the island province of Tawi-Tawi. Hence the filing of this measure by the Honorable MP Amir Mawalil and also our former colleague MP Eddie Ali. When upgraded, this hospital will have increased bed capacity and therefore will reduce patient congestion. The hospital will now provide more specialized care, allow hiring of additional medical professionals, and improve emergency response and treatment outcomes. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, the health of our people is the foundation of development. They say a strong Bangsamoro must be a healthy Bangsamoro. I therefore respectfully urge my fellow MPs for support to this bill number 45. Shukran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Floor leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the BTA Parliament number 45 be referred jointly to the Committee on Health and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management.
There is a motion from the floor to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 45 to the Committee on Health and to the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management. Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 46, its title, the names of principal author and the authors.
The Secretary is directed to read the title of BTA Parliament Bill number 46, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 46 entitled An Act Establishing a Level 1 General Hospital in the Municipality of Sitangkay, Province of Tawi-Tawi and appropriating funds therefore. Authors, Members of Parliament Amir Bahar Mawalil, John Anthony Lim, Eddie Ali, and Suharto Ambuludto. Co-authors, members of Parliament, Baintan Napatuan, Liza Alamia, Don Mustafa Loong, Rasol Mitmug Jr., Rasul Ismail, Romeo Sema, Susana Nayatin, Basir Utu, Siti Pahani Uy Oyud, Michael Mitimbang, Adspar Usman, Ibrahim Ali, Hussein Munoz, Said Sheikh, Kadil Sinurinding Jr., Hatimil Hasan, Japar Apollo Mikael Matalam, Ahmad Abbas, Muslimin Jakilan, Jamila Ramos, Harun Abbas, Basit Abbas, Hamid Malik, Hasim Medilanggalan, Jose Lorena, Ali Sanki, Randolph Parcasio, and Khalid Haji Abdullah.
Floor Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the principal author of the BTA Parliament number 46, Floor Leader MP John Anthony Lim, to deliver his sponsorship speech.
Again, the gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, Floor Leader John Anthony Lim, is recognized.
Thank you again, Honorable Presiding Officer, Deputy Speaker Omar Sema, and also Floor Leader Suarto To Ismail. I get my courtesies to the Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Makakua and our Honorable Speaker Muhammad Yaqub. Thank you for the opportunity. I once again take this stand to sponsor BTA Bill number 46, an act establishing a Level 1 General Hospital in the municipality of Sitangkay, province of Tawi-Tawi, and appropriating funds therefore. Sitangkay is known as the Venice of the South. It is separated to the mainland by several nautical miles of open sea. The Sibuto Passage, an ordinary medical emergency in Sitangkay, becomes a life or death situation because of the sheer distance and the accompanying danger in traversing this open water. The Honorable Speaker, esteemed colleagues, our role as Parliament members is to bridge the gap in delivery of services to our people. With this measure, it is prayed and hoped that we establish a Level 1 General Hospital in Sitangkay, equipped with the necessary facilities such as birthing facility, emergency treatment room, basic laboratory and diagnostic services, manned by qualified medical personnel. This measure is our commitment to equity. They must exist where they are needed the most. Therefore, I humbly and respectfully request the support of each and every member of this plenary of this august body for the passage of BTA Bill number 46. Shukran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the BTA Parliament number 46 be referred jointly to the Committee on Health and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management.
The floor is moving to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 46 to the Committee on Health and to the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management. Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion is approved. BTA Parliament Bill number 46 is referred to the Committee on Health and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 103. Its title, the names of the principal author and the co-authors.
Secretariat, you are directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 103, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 103, entitled An Act Establishing a Level 1 General Hospital in the Municipality of Tabuan, Lasa, Province of Basilan, and appropriating funds therefore. Authors, members of Parliament Amil Bahar Mawalil, Hatim El Hassan, Muslimin Jakilan, and Liza Alamia. Co-authors, members of Parliament Mosber Alauddin, Baintan Batuan, Suharto Buludto, Rasol Mitmug Jr., Don Mustafa Loong, Rasul Ismail, Basit Abbas, Hasim Dilanggalan, Muhammad Kelly Antao, Dan Asnawi, Harun Abbas, Jamila Ramos, Ahmad Abbas, Ibrahim Ali, Randolph Parcasio, Hamid Malik, Kadil Sinulinding Jr., Michael Mitimbang, Susana Nayatin, Romeo Sema, and Faisal Karun.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the principal, one of the co-author of the BTA Parliament Bill number 103, MP Musber Alahuddin to deliver his sponsorship speech.
The gentleman from Basilan is recognized.
Jet Lim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin wa bihi nasta'in wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. The speaker and the presiding officer, floor leader, deputy floor leader, may kasama sa parliament, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. The municipality of Tabuan Lasa in the province of Basilan is a coastal area outside the islands of Basilan, created through Muslim Mindanao Autonomy Act number 187 and ratified on March 29, 2008, based on the 2022 population census. The municipality has a total population of 29,327. Since its creation, the municipality of Tabuan Lasa has only a few barangay health center which provide basic health services to its constituents. Hence, critical health cases required the transport of patients to the nearest hospital by boat. This often result in the loss of lives because of delay in the diagnosis and treatment of urgent care patients. Under this dire condition, the concomitant rights of the Bangsamoro people, vice versa, the duties and responsibilities of the Bangsamoro government are very clear and must be upheld by the regional government. Hence, the give substance and spirit to the provisions of the Philippine Constitution and the Bangsamoro Organic Law, where is an urgent need for the Constitution, constructions and establishment of the Tabuan Lasa General Hospital. A measure that uphold Tabuan Lasa constituent social right and their individual basic right to life and health care services. In view of this foregoing, the passage of these bills is earnestly sought. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Floor leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the BTA Parliament number 103 be referred jointly to the Committee on Health and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management.
There is a motion from the floor to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 106 to the Committee on Health and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management. It's been seconded. I'm hearing no objection. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to read the BTA Parliament Bill number 106, its title, and the name of the principal authors and the authors.
Secretariat, proceed to reading the title of BTA Parliament Bill number 108, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 106 entitled An Act Upgrading Lamitan District Hospital into a Level 2 Hospital, increasing its bed capacity, upgrading its professional healthcare services and facilities, authorizing the increase of its medical personnel and appropriating funds, therefore. Authors, Members of Parliament Amir Bahar Mawalil, Hatim El Hassan, Muslimin Jakilan, and Liza Alamia. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Mosber Alauden, Baintan Batuan, Suharto Buludto, Rasul Mitmug Jr., Don Mustafa Loong, Rasul Ismail, Ali Sanki, Ahmad Abbas, Romeo Sema, Roylin Mendoza, Susana Nayatin, Michael Nagtimbang, Ibrahim Ali, Kadil Sinolinding Jr., Randolph Parcasio, Harun Abbas, Dan Asnawi, Hasem Medilanggalan, Matarul Istino, Abdulaziz Aminuddin, and Faisal Karun.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the principal author of the BTA Parliament number 106, Deputy Speaker Liza Alamia, to deliver her sponsorship speech.
The lady from Basilan and Zamboanga, the Deputy Speaker Liza Alamia, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and my courtesies to the Chief Minister, our Speaker, the floor leaders, the different deputy speakers, and all of the members of Parliament. I rise to sponsor Parliament Bill number 106, of which I am one of the authors, together with MP Mawalil, our Deputy Chief Minister Hatim El Hassan, and the former MP Muslimin Jakilan, among other co-authors. Republic Act number 11054, or the Bangsamoro Organic Law, mandates the Bangsamoro government to adopt a policy on health that would provide comprehensive and integrated health service delivery for all of its constituents. And we are mandated also to establish by law, a general hospital system that would serve the health requirements of our people and ensure that the basic individual right, the right to life, shall be attainable to the prompt intervention of excellent and affordable medical services. There is another law, Mr. Speaker, RA number 11223, or the Universal Healthcare Act of 2018, which declares that the state shall adopt a healthcare model that provides all Filipinos access to a comprehensive set of quality and cost-effective, promotive, preventive, curative, rehabilitative, and palliative health services without causing any financial hardship, and prioritizes the needs of the population who cannot afford such services. And so, consistent with these provisions, Mr. Speaker, this proposed measure aims to upgrade the APEX, or End Referral Hospital, to protect and promote the right to health of the citizens of the city of Lamitan and its surrounding areas in the province of Basilan. The Edibora P. Yap Memorial Hospital, otherwise known as the Lamitan District Hospital, was established in 1976. And in 1984, when Lamitan was still a municipality of the province of Basilan, the hospital was renamed as the Lamitan District Hospital by virtue of Batasang Pambansa bilang 713, and is operating as a level 1 medical facility with a 25-bed capacity. As the only government hospital operating in Lamitan City, the catchment area of Lamitan District Hospital covers the western half of the province of Basilan, which has a population of over 100,000 individuals across 8 municipalities, Mr. Speaker. Currently, the Lamitan District Hospital is staffed by only four permanent physicians, including the chief of hospital, and 6 job order doctors. The physicians are supported by 7 nurses, including the chief nurse and 20 nursing attendants. However, Mr. Speaker, there is a clear disparity in nurse-to-patient ratio and a sizable lack of medical facility, equipment, and support staff to effectively cater and treat the hospital's admitted patients. In fact, in 2014, the hospital recorded a total admission of 2,127 patients, which is 62.46% higher than its rated capacity. In 2018, hospital admissions rose dramatically to 4,258, or 172%, and recorded instant increases up to 199% of its capacity, with a total admission of 4,601 in 2019. The rising trend of admitted patients from that year to the first quarter of 2019 was recorded at 4 times the hospital's rated capacity. And in fact, the daily admissions alone, Mr. Speaker, placed the number of patients from 60 to 70 patients, which significantly surpasses its holding and serving capacity. And so under these existing conditions, the hospital's ability to provide much needed medical care for its people within its zone of operations is in jeopardy of failing from lack of capacity, resources, and manpower. Hence, the present state of the hospital in Lamitan has affected its capability to effectively and efficiently attend to the needs of the patients. It severely lacks the required medical facilities, equipment and supplies, and medical and support staff to address the needs of its patient for a population of over 100,000, Mr. Speaker. And so the foregoing circumstances surrounding the Lamitan District Hospital reveal that there is an urgent need to upgrade its capability and capacity for it to effectively serve the patients in its entire catchment area at a level of efficiency that will save more lives. And with the intent of keeping the hospital prepared amidst the increasing rates of patient admissions, and because of the continuous increases in demand for healthcare services in Lamitan and surrounding municipalities, we propose enhancing the capacity and capability of the Lamitan District Hospital, upgrading it from its present 25-bed capacity to a 100-bed capacity. Hence, Mr. Speaker, this proposal. And in view of this, we are earnestly requesting and seeking the approval of the entire Parliament of this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the BTA Parliament number 106 be referred jointly to the Committee on Health and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management.
There is a motion from the floor to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 106 to the Committee on Health and the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management. It's been seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 108 and 109, each title and the names of the principal author and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 108 and 109, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 108 entitled An Act Establishing Level 1 General Hospital in the Municipality of Haji Mohamad, Province of Basilan, and appropriating funds therefore. Author, Members of Parliament, Amel Bahar Mawalil, Hatimel Hassan, Muslimin Jakilan, and Liza Alamia. Co-authors, Members of Parliament, Mosber Alauden, Baintan ng Batuan, Suharton Bulunto, Rasol Mitmug Jr., Don Mustafa Loong, Rasul Ismail Ali Sangki, Ahmad Abbas, Romeo Sema, Froilan Mendoza, Susana Nayatin, Michael Mitimbang, Ibrahim Ali, Kadel Sinulinding Jr., Randolph Parcasio, Haron Abbas, Dan Asnawi, Haseme Dilanggalan, Matarul Istino, Abdulaziz Aminuddin, and Faisal Karon. BTA Parliament Bill number 109 entitled An Act Establishing a Level 1 General Hospital in the Municipality of Lantawan, Province of Basilan, and appropriating funds therefore. Authors, Members of Parliament, Amel Bahar Mawalil, Hatimel Hassan, Muslimin Jakilan, and Liza Alamia. Co-authors, Members of Parliament, Mosber Alauden, Baintan ng Batuan, Suharton Bulunto, Rasol Mitmug Jr., Don Mustafa Loong, Rasul Ismail Faisal Karun, Dan Martin Kahalan, Nur Reda Miswari, Michael Mintimbam, Hasem Medulanggalan, Arhata Maglangit, Ibrahim Ali, Dan Asnawi, Abdul Karim Miswari, Abdulaziz Aminuddin, Muhammad Kelly Antaw, Ahmad Abbas, Randolph Parcasio, Romeo Sema, Mataru Listino, and Susana Anayatin.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the co-author of the BTA Parliament number 109, 108 and 109, MP Suharto Ambolodto, to deliver his sponsorship speech.
The gentleman from Northern Kabuntalan is recognized.
Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Floor Leader, our colleagues in this Parliament, guests, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Within its territorial jurisdiction, the Bangsamoro government is mandated by law to ensure and support, among other things, the promotion of health and safety of its constituents, as provided in Article 19, Section 22 of Republic Act Number 11054, the organic law of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The Bangsamoro government shall adopt a policy of health that provides for a comprehensive and integrated health service delivery for its constituents. It shall establish by law a general hospital system to serve the health requirements of its people and ensure that the individual's basic rights to life shall be attainable to the prompt intervention of excellent and affordable intervention. On the matter of Parliament Bill number 108, the municipality of Haji Motamad is one of the 4 newly created municipalities by virtue of Muslim Mindanao Act number 200. The municipality has 10 barangays under its area of jurisdiction. It serves primarily as the linkage between the government and the local residents for the delivery of basic services and effective administration of all constituents in these remote barangays of the municipality. It has 3,921 households with a total population of 26,867 individuals. In this municipality, there is only one health facility, the Haji Motamad Rural Health Unit. Thus, in emergency cases and other health crises, it is crucial for patients to instead be transported to the nearest or hospital or health center in neighboring municipalities, if not to Zamboanga City. This difficulty is in accessing health care services in the municipality of Haji Motamad deprives the residents of the municipality of their constitutional right to life, which includes the right to adequate and accessible health care. The prevailing principle recently adopted by the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and Universal Health Coverage is a right-based approach to health that requires health policies and programs to prioritize the needs of those furthest behind the first. Now, on the matter of Parliament Bill number 109, Lantawan is a coastal and third-class municipality in the island province of Basilan, created and politically subdivided into 25 barangays. According to the population census in 2022, it has already has a population of 31,040, which represents 7.28% of the total population of Basilan's province across the 11.73% of Basilan's total land area, with an area of 405,048.241 square kilometers. There is only one rural health unit in Lantawan that provides basic health services to the entire municipality, and its primary capacity is on maternal services. For emergency and other health services, the patients need to be transported to the nearest hospital or even the nearest and even again, Zamboanga City. These inconveniences Lantawan's constituents, and in some cases, the cost paid is the lives of patients who expire without receiving their constitutional right to health. Under this condition, the state, including us as a political subdivision of the Philippine Republic, is bound by law to support the highest attainable standard of health, to uphold the fundamental right of every human being, as it is the state's obligation. Hence, to give assistance and spirit to the provisions of the Constitution and the Bangsamoro Organic Law, there is an urgent need for the establishment and construction of the Lantawan General Hospital as well as the Haji Mutamad Municipal Hospital. These are measures that provides for the constituents societal rights and protects their individual basic rights to life. It is in view of this, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Floor Leader, honorable members of this Parliament, that we ask you, that we beseech you to listen to the pleas and cries of your brothers and sisters in Haji Mutamad and in Lantawan municipalities, all in our beloved province of Basilan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the two BTA Parliament Bill number 108 and 109 be referred jointly to the Committee on Health, Committee on Finance, and Budget and Management.
There is a motion from the floor leader to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 108 and 109 to the Committee on Health and to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management. Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 376, its title, the names of the principal author and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 376, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 376 entitled An Act Establishing the Bangsamoro Enterprise Support Corporation. Authors, Members of Parliament Romeo Sema, Abdul Karim Miswari, Noreda Miswari, Saripudin Sikiri, and Randolph Parcasio. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Abdul Basit Benito, Amiruddin Gayak, Mosber Alauden, Matarul Istino, Muhammad Keri Antaung, Surfikal Ali Bayam, Siti Pahani Uy Oyod, Kitam Kadatuan Jr., Ahmad Abbas, Haron Abbas, Faisal Karon, Abrar Hataman, and Broylin Mendoza.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the principal author of the BTA Parliament Bill number 376, MP Romeo Sema, to deliver his sponsorship speech.
The gentleman from Cotabato City is recognized.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our Chief Minister, Abdurrahman Makakua, our Pro Leader, Attorney Jan Antony Lim, Deputy Speakers, Deputy Pro Leaders, to my honorable colleagues in the Bangsamoro Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Today, I rise to sponsor Parliament Bill number 376, entitled An Act Establishing the Bangsamoro Enterprise Support Corporation, or the Bangsamoro Enterprise Support Corporation Act. This proposed measure seeks to institutionalize a government-owned and controlled corporation. The Bangsamoro Enterprise Support Corporation, or BC, will serve as the financing arm of the Bangsamoro government, dedicated to empowering our micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, through Sharia-compliant financing programs and capacity development. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, micro, small, and medium enterprises form the backbone of any economy. Nationwide, they account for more than 99% of business establishments, employed over 62% of the country's workforce, and contribute about 36% to the national gross domestic product. Here in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao, micro, small, and medium enterprises are at the heart of our local livelihood. From farmers, fisherfolk, to weavers, traders, and harar entrepreneurs. Yet, despite their resilience and potential, they continue to face severe constraints such as limited access to financing, markets, and technical support, made worse by a long history of conflict, isolations, and poverty. While national programs such as those of the Small Business Corporation exist, many Bangsamoro entrepreneurs find these programs inaccessible, particularly because most are not Sharia compliant and thus do not align with the Islamic values and the Islamic values of our people. It is within this context that this proposed measure seeks to create the Bangsamoro Enterprise Support Corporation, or the BC. The BC aims to address these long-standing gaps by offering Sharia-compliant financing facilities such as Urawa, Izara, Mudaraba, Karasan, and Tawarak, all of which are tailored to the unique cultural, religious, and socioeconomic realities of our regions. Through this initiative, we seek to promote the commercial and industrial development of the Bangsamoro through halal and ethical financing, strengthen the capacity and competitiveness of our micro, small, and medium enterprises through training, digitalization, and technology adoption, encourage innovation and entrepreneurship, especially among our youth, women, and cooperatives, build market linkages for halal certified and export-ready products, and foster inclusive and sustainable economic growth that contributes to peaceful building and self-reliance in our regions. Mr. Speaker, under this measure, the Bangsamoro Enterprise Support Corporation shall operate as a government-owned and controlled corporation under the Ministry of Trade, Investment, and Tourism, or MTIT. It will be governed by a board of directors chaired by the Minister of MTIT and will include representation from the Ministry of Finance, Budget, and Management, the Bangsamoro Grand Mufti, and both public and private sector stakeholders. To ensure religious integrity, a Sharia Advisory Council composed of qualified Islamic scholars will oversee our financial operation to ensure full compliance with Islamic finance principles. The corporation shall have an authorized capital stock of 500 million pesos and will establish provincial offices across Basilan, Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao Sur, Tawi-Tawi, and the special geographic areas. Honorable members of the Parliament, this bill is not merely an economic measure. It is also a peace and moral governance measure. By empowering small entrepreneurs, we empower communities. By providing dignified livelihoods, we reduce poverty and dependency. And by upholding Sharia-compliant economic practices, we strengthen the moral fabric of our society in accordance with our faith and values. The Bangsamoro Enterprise Support Corporation is a testament to our collective visions of a self-reliant, inclusive, and peaceful Bangsamoro, where prosperity is shared and grounded on ethical principles. Mr. Speaker, I humbly seek the support of my fellow members of the Parliament for the passage and approval of this measure. Let us together invest not only in businesses, but in the hopes, dignity, and dreams of the Bangsamoro. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the BTA Parliament number 376 be referred to the Committee on Trade, Investment, and Tourism.
BTA Parliament Bill number 376 is referred to the Committee on Trade, Investment, and Tourism. It's been seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 377, each titled the names of the principal author and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 377, including the name, the authors, and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 377 entitled An Act Establishing the Bangsamoro Sports Institute under the Bangsamoro Sports Commission, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Authors, Members of Parliament Anindato Pagayaw, Kadel Sinulinding Jr., Muhammad Najir Ibil, and Anspar Usman. Co-authors, Members of Parliament Tumanda Antok, Kitam Kadatuan Jr., Maaruf Kandaw, Abdul Basit Benito, Boots Malang, Nagib Sinarimbo, Ibrahim Ibay, Amiruddin Gayak, Mosber Aludin, Muhammad Kelly Antaw, Abdul Karim Miswari, Zulfikar Ali Bayam, Siti Pahani Uy Oyod, Ahmad Abbas, Harun Abbas, Abrar Hataman, Utto Salim Kutan, and Proylin Mendoza.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the principal author of the BTA Parliament number 377, MP Alindato Pagayaw, to deliver his sponsorship speech.
The gentleman from Talitay or Kabuntalan? Talitay or Kabuntalan?
Talitay, Sarip, Agwak, and Datu Saudi ang patuan.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker.
the gentleman from Talitay, Saripagwak, and Datu Saudi Ampatuan is recognized.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Chief Minister, the Honorable Speaker, and the Deputy Speakers, the Honorable Floor Leader, and Deputy Floor Leaders, my colleagues in this Parliament, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Athletes from the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao continue to demonstrate considerable talent and resilience despite facing systematic limitations in sports development. Many athletes prepare for major competitions with less than 1 month of training due to insufficient facilities, lack of proper equipment, and absence of structured support system. These constraints hinder their ability to compete on equal footing with athletes from more resource-endowed regions. To address these persistent challenges, these legislative measures propose the creation of the Bangsamoro Sports Institute under the supervision of the Bangsamoro Sports Commission. The BSI, or the Bangsamoro Sports Institute, shall serve as the primary institution for sports training, talent identification, capacity building within the BAL. It will operate in coordination with the Philippine Sports Commission and other relevant agencies to ensure that regional sports programs are aligned with national standards. At the national level, the Philippine Sports Institute exists under the jurisdiction of the Philippine Sports Commission. Based on publicly available data from the Games Results and Documentation Committee of the Palarong Pambansa under the Department of Education, our region has consistently ranked
near the bottom, if not last, in the overall standing. The enactment of this measure is anchored on the constitutional mandate under Section 19, Article 14 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, which provides that the state shall promote physical education, encourage sports programs, league competitions, and amateur sports, including training for international competitions, to foster self-discipline, teamwork, and excellence for the development of healthy and alert citizenry. Moreover, Section 20, Article 9 of RA number 11054, otherwise known as the Bangsamoro Organic Law, expressly authorized the Bangsamoro government to promote regional and international sports programs. The establishment of BSI will provide the necessary support for the Bangsamoro athletes, professional training, certification program for coaches and officials, and holistic athlete welfare system. Additionally, it will promote social cohesion, peace building, and cultural preservation by incorporating indigenous games, traditional martial arts, and Islamic value into its program. Given these considerations, the immediate passage of this bill is vital to institutionalize and strengthen sports development in BAR. It will empower the region's athletes, enhance its competitiveness in national and international arenas, and contribute meaningful to nation building through sports. Mr. Speaker, the passage of this bill is earnestly sought. Shukran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Parliament Bill number 377 be referred to the Committee on Rules.
The floor leader is moving to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 377 to the Committee on Rules. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to read BTA Parliament Bill number 387. It's titled The Names of the Principal Author and the Co-Authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read the title of BTA Parliament Bill number 387, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 387 entitled An Act Institutionalizing the Administrative and Finance Divisions and Granting Fiscal Autonomy to the Office for Settler Communities, Bangsamoro Information and Communications Technology Office, Bangsamoro Information Office, and the Bangsamoro Darul Ifta, and for other purposes and providing funds therefore. Authors, members of Parliament Rasul Mitmut Jr. and Susana Netin. Co-authors, members of Parliament Liza Lamia, Suarto Ambuludto, Baintan ng Batuan, Rasul Ismail, Don Mustafa Loong, Ishaq Mastura, Hatimil Hasan, Harun Abbas, Ahmad Abbas, Mosber Aloden, Abrar Hataman, Amiruddin Gayak, Muhammad Yaqub, Randol Parcasio, Michael Mitimbang, Romeo Sema, and Saripudin Chikiri.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the principal author of the BTA Parliament Bill number 387, Susana Anayatin, MP Susana Anayatin, to deliver her sponsorship speech.
The lady from Dato Dinsinswat Municipality is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Dr. Muhammad Yaqub, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Attorney Omar Sema, Honorable Deputy Floor Leader Suharto Ismail, my fellow members of the Parliament, a pleasant day to everyone, and may the peace of Almighty God be with us all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues in this august chamber, good day. It is with great honor and profound sense of responsibility that I rise before you today to sponsor a measure that seeks to strengthen the internal capacity and operational efficiency of 5 agencies under the Office of the Chief Minister the Office for Settler Communities, the Bangsamoro Information and Communication Technology Office, the Bangsamoro Information Office, and the Bangsamoro Darul Ifta Office. Mr. Speaker, it is worth mentioning that during the preparation for second reading, our office received a letter from Peace, Security, and Reconciliation Office expressing their intention to be included in proposed measure. The same shall be duly reiterated during the period of amendments before the appropriate committee and plenary session. This proposed legislation is entitled An Act Institutionalizing the Administrative and Finance Division and Granting Fiscal Autonomy to the OSC, to the BICTO, to the Bio and the Darul Ifta offices, plus the Peace, Security, and Reconciliation Office, and for other purposes, and providing funds therefore. Mr. Speaker, when we established the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, we envisioned a government that is transparent, efficient, and responsive to the needs of its people. A government that truly embodies the values of good governance and moral leadership. However, in the course of implementing this vision, we have seen that certain operational and structural limitations within some of our offices hinder the full realization of these mandates. Currently, among the 9 offices directly under the Office of the Chief Minister, only the following 4 enjoy fiscal autonomy: the Bangsamoro Planning Development Authority, the Bangsamoro Pilgrimage Office, Cooperative and Social Enterprise Authority, and the Development Academy of the Bangsamoro. The remaining agencies, including the OSC, BICTO, Bio, and BDI, continues to depend on other OCM units for administrative and financial transactions. This dependency, though understandable in the early years of the transition, has resulted in delays in program implementation, low budget utilization, and inefficiencies in service delivery. These challenges, if not addressed, can weaken institutional performance and public trust to the Office of the Chief Minister. Allow me to briefly highlight the critical roles of these agencies. The Office of the Settler Communities is mandated to address the concerns and promote the welfare of the settler communities within BARM. Despite its crucial role in peace building, social inclusion, and community empowerment, it currently operates without a dedicated administrative and finance division. This situation hampers the timely disbursement of funds, procurement of resources, and implementation of essential programs for our settler brothers and sisters. Granting fiscal autonomy and establishing its administrative and finance structures will ensure that the OSC can function effectively without unnecessary bureaucratic delays while still being accountable under the Office of the Chief Minister. The Bangsamoro Information and Communication Technology Office, or BICTO, leads our region's digital transformation and ICT development to accelerate digital governance and technological innovation. BICTO must be empowered with fiscal independence to manage its resources and implement its projects efficiently. In this digital age, connectivity and innovation are governance tools, and BICTO must be equipped to deliver them. The Bangsamoro Information Office, or BIO, plays a vital role in information dissemination, transparency, and public engagement. The BIO ensures that the Bangsamoro people are well informed of government programs, services, and policies. Establishing its own administrative and finance division will enhance its operational agility and professional capacity to serve as the voice and mirror of this government. The Bangsamoro Darul Ifta serves as the primary institution for Islamic jurisprudence and moral guidance in the region. It is both spiritual and institutional in function. Strengthening its internal systems will enable it to carry out the advisory and religious mandates more efficiently aligned with the shared values of justice, peace, and moral governance. To this proposed measure, Mr. Speaker, each of these offices will have a standardized administrative and finance division composed of essential sections such as supply and property procurement, cash, accounting, budget, management, and audit, plus records section. This will ensure that all transactions are compliant with the Bangsamoro financial accounting and auditing regulations. Moreover, granting fiscal autonomy, funds appropriated to these offices shall be automatically and regularly released, ensuring continuity of services and preventing undue disruptions in the execution of their mandates. In essence, Mr. Speaker, this bill is not merely an administrative adjustment. It is a commitment to institutional strengthening. It affirms our collective resolve to make governance in the Bangsamoro not only inclusive and participatory, but also responsive, efficient, transparent, and sustainable. Mr. Speaker, we are not creating new bureaucracies. We are empowering existing ones to perform better, to deliver faster, timely, to account more faithfully, and to serve more effectively. As one of the proponents of this bill, I humbly appeal for the support of my colleagues in the Parliament. Let us move together toward a more responsive Bangsamoro, one that ensures every agency has the tool, structure, and fiscal freedom to fulfill its duties to the Bangsamoro people. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, in strengthening these agencies, the OSC, BICTO, Bio, and BDI, we are strengthening the very heart of the Bangsamoro government. We are reinforcing the pillars of good governance, moral governance, accountability, and inclusivity that define our moral governance framework. With this, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I respectfully move for the immediate consideration and passage of this important measure. Maraming salamat po at muli isang magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the BTA Parliament Bill number 387 be referred to the Committee on Amendments and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management.
There's a motion from the floor to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 387 to the Committee on Amendments and to the Committee on Finance. And the second, hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, moving on the last bill on the second reading, may I request the Secretary to be directed to read the BTA Parliament Bill number 410, its title, the name of the principal authors and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read the title of BTA Parliament Bill number 410, including the name of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 410, entitled An Act Appropriating Funds for the Operation of the Bangsamoro Government from January 1 to December 31, 2026, and for other purposes. Author, the Government of the Day.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the principal author of the BTA Parliament number 410, MP Kadatuan Kitab.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Lord Leader.
The gentleman from Cotabato City is recognized.
Thank you. Apologize. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا ما يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. To the Chief Minister Abdul Rauf A. Makakwa, to the Honorable Speaker Dr. Muhammad Shoaib Yaqub, to the Honorable Presiding Officer Attorney Omar Sema, to the Deputy Speakers, the floor leaders, Deputy floor leaders, officers of the Parliament, colleagues in this Parliament, guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I stand humbled before this august body, bearing the solemn duty of delivering the sponsorship speech for Parliament Bill number 410, the General Appropriations Bill of the Bangsamoro for fiscal year 2026. The responsibility at hand is one of the clearest expression of the trust reposed by the people in this Parliament. It is sacred in that it involves the stewardship of public resources and consequential in that it directly shapes the lives and future of the Bangsamoro. It is, in every sense, an amana placed upon us for which we will be accountable before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before the law, and before our very own history. As it is mentioned in the Holy Quran, Inna Allaha ya'murukum an tu'addul amanati ila ahliha. Indeed, Allah commands you to render back the trust to whom they are due. And when we speak of trust, we are reminded that this Parliament did not emerge from convenience, nor was this government handed to us easily. It was born out of struggle, the cost of which was paid for blood, sweat, and lives of our people, and by the courage of generations who advocated for the Bangsamoro's right to chart its own future. Today, we convene in a very different time, yet the same sacred trust remains. What was once defended by struggle must now be honored through moral governance. What was once fought in the fields must now be protected in the halls of legislation. We, members of Parliament, now serve as guardians of the purse of the Bangsamoro, but more importantly, as stewards of the people's trust. And that trust is not grounded in sentiment, but in law. Our duty arises from the Bangsamoro Organic Law, which leaves no room for ambiguity on the role of this august body in budgeting public funds. The Parliament shall pass an annual appropriations law. This mandate carries a weight that goes beyond technical or legal instruction and becomes moral in character. For it reminds us that the authority to legislate the appropriations entails careful and judicious examinations of the expenditure program, mindful that what we approve here is held in trust, not for ourselves, but for the people we serve. It is within this context now, Mr. Speaker, that I now lay before this chamber the proposed Bangsamoro expenditure program for fiscal year 2026, amounting to 114.07 billion pesos. 38.16 billion pesos of which is allotted for personal services, representing not merely salaries and benefits, but a commitment to the public servants behind the government machinery. The budget likewise provides 40.62 billion for maintenance and other operating expenses, which fuels the day-to-day fulfillment of our mandates. Completing the structure of this budget is the 35.29 billion pesos allotted for capital outlay dedicated to long-term assets such as roads, water systems, health, and education facilities, and digital infrastructure. These allocations taken together form the financial framework of the Bangsamoro government for the coming year. But the true character of this budget is not defined by accounting classifications alone. It is revealed in how these resources flow into the sectors that shapes the lives of our people. It will be seen in the classrooms where our learners grow, the hospitals and barangay health stations where care is delivered, the farms and fishing communities where livelihoods are built, the roads and systems that connect our islands and provinces, and the institutions that govern at the grassroots of communities. It is in these areas that the 114 plus billion peso budget is translated from figures on paper into concrete outcomes. At the forefront of this budget stands education, alhamdulillah, which continues to be among the recipients of the highest share of resources, amounting to 28% of that total budget, 32.6 billion, including 1.6 billion pesos for Project Iqbal, 2 billion pesos for school-based management and operations, and 756 million pesos for school-based feeding program. These funds are devoted to ensuring that classrooms are functional, learning materials are provided, madrasa education is strengthened, technical vocational pathways are widened, and support programs from early childhood to higher education remains accessible to learners across the autonomous region. This reflects our conviction that the most enduring investment we can make is in the learner and character of our people. Alongside education, substantial allocations are directed toward healthcare and social protection. With over 8 billion pesos of allocation, we will continue supporting the Barangay Health Workers Program, Tiakap Bangsamoro Kalusugan Program, and Bangsamoro Immunization Program, among others. These funds will keep hospitals operational, sustain community-based health workers, secure medicines and equipment, expand nutrition and immunization programs, and provide essential support for indigent patients, mothers, children, persons with disability, and families in crisis. The goal is not only to respond to need, but to close the gaps that have long separated remote communities from public health services. Through targeted interventions such as the Unlad Pamilyang Bangsamoro Program and the Lingkod Pamayanan para sa Kapayapaan Project, the budget strengthens the Bangsamoro government's direct assistance to households and conflict-affected barangays. Likewise, the BCares, or the Bangsamoro Critical Assistance in Response to Emergency Situations, continues to serve as the region's rapid response lifeline, backed by a 400 million peso allocation to ensure that no Bangsamoro is left unaided in times of disaster, displacement, or urgent need. As this government aims to give our heroes, our mujahideen, their share in the dividends of peace and uplift their socio-economic conditions, funds were allocated to strengthen the Salam, the strengthening access to living assistance for marginalized Bangsamoro program, and promotion of well-being and financial stability for senior citizens and disabled Bangsamoro Mujahideen program. The budget also places strong emphasis on economic empowerment, supporting farmers, fisherfolk, cooperatives, micro-enterprises through agricultural inputs, post-harvest facilities, livelihood grants, market linkages, initiatives, and infrastructures that lower logistical costs and raises productivity. This includes the continued expansion of the Basic Integration for Harmonized Intervention (BINHI program, which received an increased allocation for 2026 when we strengthened the agricultural and fisheries sector. We are at the same time protecting food security and expanding livelihood choices for the majority of our population. Infrastructure remains a vital component of this expenditure program, with funds set aside to connect barangays to markets, enhance mobility, protect flood-prone areas, and construct facilities that serve education, health, governance, and commerce. With this, we can build long-term foundations that enable the Bangsamoro to function as a single integrated and forward-moving region. Nation-building and governance initiatives are likewise strengthened in this budget. Funds have been earmarked to support the Bangsamoro judiciary. Complementing this, the budget seeks to improve public order, justice, and security institutions and deepen the culture of transparency, accountability, and moral governance within local government. As with any instrument of governance, the crafting of the 2026 Bangsamoro Expenditure Program was a product of a long process centered on the most urgent needs and long-term aspiration of the Bangsamoro. With pride, I say that throughout this process, the values of moral governance guided every allocation and decision. As the Chief Minister himself declared in his budget message, moral governance is a core of our political values, and it is this very principle that ensured that every peso assigned in this budget contributes to the realization of the Bangsamoro's goals. In this way, the 2026 budget reflects not only the technical rigor of planning, but also the priorities of this leadership. It prioritizes education, secures health and social protection, supports livelihoods, strengthens infrastructure, and reinforces peace and governance across the autonomous region. These interconnected pillars support our vision of a self-reliant and resilient Bangsamoro. Yet beyond addressing present needs, this budget also looks forward to the future, the legacy we are building. Under the administration of the Chief Minister, it aims to strengthen institutions so that they outlast political terms, making sure that the struggle once waged for self-determination is now carried forward through sustained, accessible, and meaningful self-governance. Honorable members of this Parliament, the budget that we'll deliberate on will become a declaration of what this government chooses to stand for. Its enactment will give life to programs, projects, and activities that uplift the lives and dignity of the Bangsamoro. For every bang of the gavel, every hand raise, every vote cast, may we be guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the belief that service to the Bangsamoro is not measured by power accumulated, but by lives improved, which is the same spirit that motivated our people through years of struggle, negotiation, and transition. In the words echoed by the late chairman, Salamat Hashim, Alayo Harmo, quoting Maulana Abdul A'la Maududi, the nearest correct meaning of the word jihad is to exert one's utmost endeavor in promoting a cause. Today, and in the days ahead, we shall, within these halls, not promote not our own cause, but the cause of the people whose future depends on the decisions we make throughout a budget that honors the public trust. Dear colleagues, together, let us deliver a budget that reflects a government that is principled and people-centered. For in the end, our task is not to defend figures, but to defend that every family in the Bangsamoro holds on to. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Lord Leader, thank you to the chair of the CFBM for delivering an insightful and compelling sponsorship speech. Mr. Speaker, I move that the Parliament Bill number 410 be referred to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management.
There is a motion from the floor to refer BTA Parliament Bill number 410 to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management. Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker.
5 minutes.
Proceed na tayo. Mr. Speaker, we now proceed to item number 11 on the unfinished business. Those members who wish to interpellate may submit their names to the Secretariat and kindly indicate the committee report on which they wish to interpellate. Mr. Speaker, in view of the absence of the principal author, I move that to defer the interpellation until such time that any of the authors is present pertaining to the bill number 55, Mr. Chair. Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion from the floor to defer BTA Parliament Bill number 55 until further notice. Been seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I also move to defer the committee report number 164 to be included for the tomorrow's order of business.
There is a motion from the floor to include committee report number 164 for tomorrow's order of business. Been seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved. Secretariat, take note.
And Mr. Speaker, the principal author of the BTA Parliament Bill number 59 concede in favor of the next agenda. As such, in time will be permit it will be discussed after the committee report number 172.
We will now defer consideration of committee report number 171.
Yes, after maybe if we can finish the 172, Mr. Speaker, there will be the next for the interpellation.
Okay.
Actually, amendment, Mr. Speaker.
So the floor is moving to proceed with committee report number 172 instead of 171. First. Any second? Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Next, for the unfinished business, is the committee report number 172 submitted by the CFBM regarding the BTA Bill number 325, an act prescribing a budget system for the Bangsamoro government, and move to open the period of interpellation and debate.
Floor leader. Floor leader. Floor leader. Floor leader. Can we proceed with the other committee reports with no principal author? Move to defer them until they are already here. Committee report number 175. So that we will not return to it. Huh? Bides will be the one reporting tomorrow. You move to include it in tomorrow's order of business.
So, siya na lang at saka ito na naman.
175? Committee report number 175?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move to defer the committee report number 175. 175.
Yes. The revenue code.
The committee.
There's no one reporting today.
No.
1 minute.
1 minute suspension.
Resume.
Mr. Speaker, I move to defer the committee report number 175 on Thursday, November 13, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, DS,
Speaker. DS Lorena, Mr. Speaker.
DS Lorena wants to recognize.
Yes, Honorable MP. Yes, Jose Lorena is recognized.
I have a standing motion. Oh, may interjection na siya.
Motion?
I-proceed.
Yes. Deputy Speaker Jose Lorena, you are now recognized. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to inform the plenary that in view of my appointment as DS Deputy Speaker, the chairman of the Committee on Ways, I understand, will be given to MP on there. And that as far as the interpellation of this committee, the principal author, the Minister of Finance, and my Vice Chair in the Committee on Ways will answer will help in answering the interpellation that may be raised. And we will also participate, but it will now be the full responsibility of the Minister of Finance, being the principal author of this of the bill, considering that there will now be a change in the leadership of the Committee on Ways and Means, which I think will be given to MP Mondher, who is a member of the committee, but who has not been involved with the deliberation of but he not yet confirmed, and perhaps the new chairman of the Committee on Ways should be confirmed first by the plenary. In view of these changes, I move that the fair consideration of the committee report 175. Thank you, Madam Mr. Speaker.
Yes. The manifestation of Deputy Speaker Jose Lorena is duly noted.
Yes, for the information of DS Lorena, we already deferred the report on Thursday.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So let's proceed, Mr. Speaker. I move that to open the period of interpellation and debate for the committee report number 172.
There is a move to open the interpellation debate on committee report number 72 in relation to BTA Parliament Bill number 325. Is there any second? The second, duly seconded. The open period of interpellation and debate is now open. Is there any from members of the parliament like to interpellate?
Mr. Speaker, MP Froilin Mendoza wants to be recognized for her interpellation.
Honorable Lady MP from UP and South UP is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If the good gentleman, Kitam Kadatuan, is willing to respond some to the clarificatory question that I'll be raising in this floor.
I would be glad to.
If I may write, the madrasa schools shall be entitled to 1.3 billion for Madaris teacher program in 2026. My question is, how much money is the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education budget allocating to support our non-Moro indigenous people's education in 2026? Because I haven't heard any of it. Is there anything for our non-Moro IP and other unrepresented, marginalized, vulnerable children's in education? I knew there is the Bureau of Indigenous Peoples Education. I would like to clarify also and to know if this is operating and if there are people running the Bureau of Indigenous Peoples Education. How do they address the education of our IP children? Or in short, may klaro bang programa at budget para dito? How
Mr.
about the
Speaker,
status of
point
our
of
IP
order.
children? And the status of our IP teachers as well.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good
Mr.
afternoon, ma'am.
Speaker, point of order.
Yes. First of all, may I answer? Mr. Speaker? Yes. With respect to the question of the Honorable MP Frelin Mendoza, ma'am, what we are discussing right now is an act prescribing a budget system for the Bangsamoro government. I think the question would be more proper or aptly be directed to the Bangsamoro expenditure program or the general appropriations bill on the Bangsamoro as it pertains to the budget itself. Now, the current subject of the interpellation is BTA Bill number 325, an act prescribing a budget system for the Bangsamoro government. What we're discussing here, ma'am, this bill particularly pertains to the process of enacting the bill and not with respect to how the appropriations are made or allotted with respect to your particular query.
Yes, we'd like to also inform the Honorable MP that
So if
yes.
that it's so in proper time, I will raise this particular concerns, no? In a proper time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
That's maybe
Mr. Speaker.
advanced
Mr.
question.
Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, MP Rando Parcasio is recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, we are discussing a very vital bill that will affect the determination of the budget every fiscal year of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. And may I just state that in the national government, the budget is prepared by the Office of the President, by the Department of Budget and Management, and national agencies. And these agencies under the Executive Department of the President submit it for approval or discussions to the Senate and Congress or the Philippine Congress. In the previous autonomous government, the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, a similar system was also implemented, whereby the regional governor submits a budget. I'm referring to the budget from regional revenues, no? Not the national budget, because the national budget of the arm used to be submitted to Congress. Now, in local revenues or regional revenues, the same system was implemented, whereby the regional governor, through his cabinet, prepares a budget and submits it to the regional assembly for deliberations and approval. Now, in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, since the inception of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, the same system is also implemented. I'm wondering why the same system is implemented when the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, which is a transitional government that acts like a regular government, is a parliamentary government. Now, I'm stating this because I have not seen before that. Let me state, and I think the author, principal author of this bill, also believes that in the parliamentary form of government, the parliament is supreme. I'm stating that because in the bill that is presented, there is no role of the members of the parliament in crafting the regional budget. The regional budget is crafted under the proposal by the executive department. When there is no, in reality, it is the parliament that is supreme. Now, what I'm saying is that will the author of the principal author of this bill accept or entertain any amendments to the proposal in the bill of amendment, such that that proposal or amendment will grant role of the members of the parliament in the determination or in the submission of regional projects. Why? Why is it so? Because when a regular form of Bangsamoro Parliament is established, the members thereof will be elected. And as elected members, especially those coming from the districts, they will be representing their particular concerns in the district, and also in the province. And also the members of the parties that will be included in the regular parliament, they will represent the interest of their party, which is the interest of the Bangsamoro people. Kaya sinasabi ko po ito sapagkat kailangan po sa isang parliamentary Bangsamoro government, meron pong role, merong participation, merong authority ang member ng parlamento sa paggawa ng budget. Hindi lang mag-approve, mag-amend, mag-revise, mag-comment sa sinubmit ng Office of the Chief Minister. I'm raising this because in the period of amendment, I will do my best to introduce a provision that will give rise to the participation, meaningful participation of the members of the parliament in the crafting of the budget. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. MP Canatonio, may response.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I would like to give my thanks to the Honorable Deputy Floor Leader Attorney Bong Parcasio. With respect to his manifestation or statement that would the here in proponent be willing to entertain any amendments or proposal? Yes, sir. We will be subject to, of course, the submission of the proposed amendments so that we can properly study whether or not this would affect the entirety of the bill itself, because the bill was crafted in such a way that it is like clockwork, that it would mesh with each other. No, the herein proponent would seriously consider, just in case, if should the Honorable MP Bong Parcasio submit. And now, just to have a preliminary answer with respect to the participation of the why was the bill crafted in this way? This was merely in pursuant of the provision under the Bangsamoro Organic Law that it shall be consistent when we pass appropriations bill, that it shall be consistent with national laws and standards on public financial management. Of course, this is without prejudice to the fiscal autonomy, the autonomy of the Bangsamoro government as guaranteed under Bangsamoro Organic Law.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Pro Leader. Mr. Speaker,
Yes, you are
Yes, sir.
recognized.
Mr. Speaker, we still have MPs who are on the list for the interpellations. After
Mr. Speaker, just on that issue, just to clarify the points.
Who is the interpellator right now?
MP Parcasio.
With the kind permission of the interpellator, of course. Just on the issue of why the executive will still be preparing the budget.
1 minute suspension.
I'm through with my interpellation, where I express my willingness to submit an amendment to the bill in order to grant authority, privilege to members of the parliament that in the inception of the preparation of the budget, they will be allowed to participate in the formulation of the ensuing fiscal year budget of the autonomous government.
Duly noted. Floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I move that we recognize Honorable Nagib Sinarimbo. After Nagib Sinarimbo, Suharto Ambuluto, MP Ampatuan, and MP Matalam for interpellation.
The gentleman from Cotabato City is. Are you yielding in the meantime? The gentleman from Northern Kabuntalan is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you also to the Honorable Sinarimbo. I would like also to take on the matter that was earlier raised by the Honorable Parcasio. Right now, basically, we have a closed system, as the Honorable Chair is emphasizing. It is a really closed system because it's like a working kaga. The analogy was very, very appropriate. However, the concerns right now is that, for instance, we have also approved a Bangsamoro Regional Development Plan. And now, when we get the final, we participate in the budget process towards already in the tail end. When we don't have an opportunity to assess the previous performance and then set the targets based on the budget that we have appropriated for the next budget season, we should also be able to work on the targets for 2027 already, for the next following budget fiscal year. What we are simply saying here is that how do we align our strategic targets that has been approved by the Parliament on the matter of our regional development targets on an annual basis. Ang sinasabi po natin dito, Mr. Speaker, baka po magkaroon, yun nga, kailangan lang merong working proposal na maipropose kasi it's a closed system. We cannot simply tinker with it simply because we don't like one part of it. If ever, yun nga parang request ko na, and we will also be working on the participation of the Parliament from the very start, not after the budget call. Before the budget call, parliamentary targets should already be set. For instance, if we are lagging behind 5,000 school rooms, we should be able to communicate that effectively before the start of the budget call so that when MFBM assesses, meron ng input yung Parliament. Kasi right now, what we understand is that the budget process starts really with the submission and the assessment of MFBM on the manageability of the proposals and programs that are being proposed by the various agencies. What we can do is perhaps to be able to also to look at the points raised by the Honorable Parcasio is explore whether there be participation of the Parliament, and not members of the Parliament, on the very beginning when we try to shape and canalize the expenditure program for the next preceding year. Yun lang po, Mr. Speaker. Ang gusto kong itanong kung meron bang would it not unduly disturb the closed system of the budget system that we really don't want to really disturb kasi by itself, it's already delicate enough. So, doon lang po sa strategic point na ni-raise po ng ating kasamang kagalang-galang na Randolph Parcasio, if possibly ba doon na for purposes lang ng meron tayong handle as to where would it proceed. Kasi ang ginagawa po natin ngayon, andun tayo sa tail end. Para bang hindi naman natin klaro kung saan na hindi na natin pwede galaw-galawin yan kasi close nga siya. At yung ating budget, ang ating expenditure program is basically supporting one another on a particular directions, which unfortunately seems to be a repetition only of the earlier fiscal years, which continue to fail deliver. May low budget utilization rate ka na, meron ka pang targets na hindi na-meet at merong emerging issues na hindi nasasagot. So I hope that if there is still spaces for these kinds of concerns so that the strategic leadership and control of the Parliament over the entire Bangsamoro government, not only as a holders of the purse, like in a presidential form of government, but being the principal government in a parliamentary form of government. Yun lang po, Mr. Speaker and Brother Chairman of the Committee on Finance.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
To answer the query of the Honorable MP Ambuludto, first and foremost, nothing precludes the members of Parliament to make any proposals to the concerned ministries, offices, or agencies prior to the budget call. In this manner, however, it is up to the ministries, offices, or agencies whether or not to consider the proposals of the members of Parliament regarding their particular suggestions or recommendations or their advocacies regarding any particular programs that they wish to be included in the budget proposals of those ministries, offices, or agencies. Whether or not the proposals of those members of Parliament will be adopted by the ministries, offices, or agencies will be within the wisdom and the discretion of those ministries, offices, or agencies receiving the request of the members of Parliament.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, actually, I am not proposing individual MPs to really lobby, particular no, kasi that might make the work of our ministries, offices, and agencies more difficult. What I would like to say is that yung institution mismo, the Parliament, as far as setting of targets and determining outcomes for that particular year, such that lahat ng programa nila doon nila i-align. Kasi ang question natin ngayon, ang nakikita natin are projects, programs, and activities. Pero yung strategic direction as to how, for instance, Mr. Speaker, we are not very, very certain on agriculture and fisheries alone. We have been investing so much for this from since 2020 to the current. Bakit yung ating agriculture and fisheries is contracting by 4% on 2024 alone, which is a major So, dapat lang doon, meron tayong yung institution na po, yung parliament. So, yun po yung mas maganda sanang meron para hindi sa PPA, wag sa PPA, kundi doon sa direction and outcomes, which is more strategic. So, we hope na yung we hope din po, Mr. Speaker, that the Honorable Parcasio and me and others can provide a suggestion, workable suggestion, and hope that there is some openness na tingnan natin kung dapat hindi siya makagulo. Mr. Speaker, the moment individual sa atin maglabi ng program and projects, medyo na yan, unwieldy na yan, which for the record, I am not really recommending that, Mr. Speaker. We hope na we can work together with the committee on this matter, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, sir.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the next to the line is MP Nagib Sinarimbo.
The gentleman from Cotabato City is also recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Floor Leader. Good afternoon to our distinguished sponsor of the report. Let me start with preliminary questions, which I hope would guide our discussion on the proposed Bangsamoro Budget System Act that is under deliberation of the plenary. The first question is, with respect to the utilization rate of the Bangsamoro government over the years, do we have data on what really is the average utilization rate of the ministries, offices, and agencies of the Bangsamoro government?
In the meantime, can I, hindi natin to pinag-usapan, mamaya, masisi na. Anyway, can we proceed with your second question, sir? Just for purposes of
I think the subsequent questions would be built around the basic data that we need to consider.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. The average budget utilization rate would be 85%.
85%.
The entire budget.
And the lowest utilization rate for a ministry would be around what percentage?
May I be clarified that 85% is for the entire Bangsamoro government?
Yes.
Average.
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 Across different offices, ministries.
Including all ministries?
Yes.
Okay.
For the lowest budget utilization rate would be on the year 2020, fiscal year 2020, but which is 69.54. However, it must be considered that this budget was extended. The effectivity of the utilization of this budget was extended.
Yes, and meaning the utilization rate that we are now discussing is an average for roughly 5 years. And a primary consideration of that utilization rate is that we have extended on several occasions the validity of the appropriations so that ministries and offices would be able to expend the budget. Would that be correct?
That's correct, sir.
And in terms of yearly appropriations and utilization, would it be safe to say that it would be far lower than the average of 80 plus if we are considering the appropriation for a year and the expenditure for a year? Meaning if we are appropriating for 2026 and by the end of 2026, that is December 30, 2026, the utilization rate in reality would be lower than what we have.
Yes, that's correct. If there is an extension of the previous year's budget validity, then it will cause a lower budget utilization rate of the current year's budget.
Yes, and for the period of 5 years, have we, meaning the ministry tasked to manage the budget of the region, have we conducted a study and pinpointed the major factors that actually affect the low utilization rate of the region?
So one of the reasons why there were low budget utilization rate was because of, again, as I mentioned before, there was extension of the validity of the budget. So it was hard for the MOAs to implement the previous year's programs, activities, and projects, and the current year's programs, activities, and projects. And on top of that, they were also hindered by the fact that the bureaucratic process, particularly on the procurement process. So while procuring the previous year's programs, activities, or projects, they were also busy with the current year's, or the procurement for this year's project was pending, seeing as were implementing 2-3 budgets at the same time.
Yes, and because in the first place, there is a low utilization rate for the current appropriation. The following year that we appropriate, the same low utilization rate occurs in a ministry, and in addition to the current year's appropriation, there is a backlog of funds which has not been expended for the previous year. And so it has accumulated over a period of time, resulting in even lower utilization rate for the ministry. That seems to be the picture, distinguished sponsor.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
And in the proposed Bangsamoro Budget System Act, we are proposing one,
cash-based.
A cash-based budgeting system. Is that correct, distinguished sponsor?
That's correct, sir.
And among the primary principle in the cash budgeting system is that we will limit the utilization of the fund only for the appropriation of that year.
1 year validity, only for that appropriation of that year.
Is the validity. Meaning, if we appropriate this year for 2026, ministries and offices would have to spend their budget by the end of December 2026. Otherwise, they will not be able to access that fund.
Yes. Correct.
The proposal, of course, would be effected through a transition plan. Is that correct?
Yes, within a period of 3 years from the effectivity of this act, the Bangsamoro government will implement and operationalize the cash-based budgeting system.
So 3 years after we shall have enacted this law, we will move into cash-based budgeting system.
Yes, sir.
A primary feature of that is that ministries, offices, and agencies would have to spend their money within a year. Otherwise, it will already be reverted and they will not have access to that fund. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's particularly stated at paragraph D of section 35.
35.
Yes, sir. Shall lapse at the end of the fiscal year in which they were appropriated. After such lapse or reversion, there shall be no longer be available for release or expenditure except by reappropriation.
Yes. My concern is that over the years, it would appear that we have not really achieved a level of disbursement for a year that we can comfortably say ministries, offices, and agencies would be able to spend their money within a budget year. And we have been experiencing this one over a period of 5 years. What gives the distinguished sponsor the confidence that in 3 years' time, we will be able to achieve a 100% utilization rate for a year?
One of the purpose of enacting this budget system act, especially with respect to section 35, the implementation or the adoption of cash-based budgeting system, is to impose discipline to the ministries, offices, and agencies. Having that in mind, that we will be operationalizing cash-based budgeting system would force the ministries to be more prudent in their implementation of their budget. Otherwise, they will be subject, again, as mentioned before, to the lapse and reversion of their appropriations. The 3-year transition period would be enough for the ministries to adjust with respect to the adoption of this particular cash-based budgeting system. Otherwise, they will face the consequences.
Mr. Speaker, I am fine with providing a sort of a penalty for ministries, offices, and agencies if they fail to spend their money within a year. My concern, however, is that perhaps it is important to conduct a study first, a more detailed one, so that we can fully understand and grasp the real reason why ministries and offices cannot seem to spend their money within a year, and thus requiring us to extend the validity of appropriations. Because if we continue to operate in a system like this one, and we've been doing it for 5 years, and we have not found the real reason why there is a very slow utilization rate among ministries, offices, and agencies, penalizing them would not solve the problem. We should probably check at systems, organizations, internal processes within the ministry before we go into a sort of a penalty provision that in the end would defeat the very purpose of government, which is to spend. Because government lives for spending the money so that we can create opportunities for people. Government essentially are not here to save money. It is banks that try to attempt to create savings, but government is here to spend. And therefore, it is important that we look at, have we conducted really studies that would show and pinpoint to the to the Parliament and to this government what ails the ministries, offices, and agencies that results in the low utilization rate of our budget.
There were initial studies, but not comprehensive studies, and but the main purpose of the adoption of Section 35 cash-based budgeting system was again to encourage the implementation or spending of funds, because if we adopt cash-based budgeting system, it will strengthen the implementation, because what you could only propose are shovel-ready programs and projects, readiness of the POPs. So that is the main reason why we propose Section 35 of the Budget System Act. Implementation readiness of the proposals.
The proposals. I fully agree with the distinguished sponsor that programs that are proposed for provision of budget in the Parliament should be implementation ready. Meaning we've done the basic studies, we've programmed it, we've understood the cycle for it and programmed the funds accordingly. But it still baffles me why in all of the ministries and offices in the region, we continue to have very low utilization rate. And while I am prepared to support the proposal to ensure that program budget for a year is expended, I think it is important at this stage to really conduct a thorough study so we can examine the real reason why we continue to have very low utilization rate. Unless we find that out, we are able to narrow down the reasons why we cannot seem to spend the money, we will just be creating a provision which in reality cannot be implemented. That's my concern, distinguished proponent. Under Section 35 also, paragraph C, the proposed act would treat the budget of the ministry as unspent or not disbursed until it is actually used in procurement. What is the justification for this one?
For paragraph C regarding the transfers of funds between organization units, it is not to be considered disbursed because before or prior or currently, they would record the same as disbursed even if it is in reality just transferred to the recipient unit such as the local government unit. Thereby, as a consequence, they can record it as utilized and have a high level of budget utilization rate when in fact there was no implementation yet of that particular program. So with the adoption of paragraph C of Section 35, it will actually reflect the actual disbursement. So it will only be recorded as disbursed upon the implementation of the recipient organization.
Yes. A classic illustration of this one is that if a ministry proposes to as an example, to build a municipal hall building for a specific municipality in the SGA. It is approved in your 2026 budget. And then you requested it from MFBM. What you do normally is that you release maximum of 50% to the LGU so they can implement the project. But one would have to understand that a municipal building, for instance, would be impossible to construct in a year. And therefore, if we allow the operationalization of the cost-based budgeting system, we have asked the LGU through a memorandum of agreement to implement this one. We've released 50% of that. In a year's time, he's not able to complete it. And therefore, the budget approved for that would no longer be available for him for next year. What would happen to the LGU and that project which has not been completed for a year by the local government unit concerned?
If the same has not been obligated, then it would revert back to the system, to the treasury.
And it will no longer be available to the LGU beyond that year.
Yes.
And there would be consequences. You will have a lot of projects uncompleted because they can no longer access the fund simply because they've not managed to complete it within a year.
That's why the solution for that would be implementation readiness of the proposals.
I can understand that, but the reality on the ground is that we have different implementation strategy between ministries in the region as well as local government units. And my concern is that if we pursue this policy, we might end up with a lot of projects not completed simply because we have a system that tells us you cannot spend the money beyond that year for which it has been appropriated.
I think that's a very important matter to consider. So we welcome, just in case, any proposed amendments with respect to how we can resolve that particular issue from the Honorable MP Nagib Sinarimbo.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. We'll probably propose some amendments when we go to amendments. The other concern is that part of the provision in the law would be the adoption of a single treasury account in the region.
Yes, single treasury account, STA, that all collections will be deposited or contained in one account.
In one account?
Yes.
And in addition to that, we will be providing a system by which each ministry, offices, or agency would have an account which is linked to the mother account of the MFBM. Is that correct? Or the Treasury Office?
Yes, linked to the Treasury.
Yes, and when you request a fund for a specific project which will be implemented for a year, you would request, for instance, for first tranche for first quarter.
Depending upon the determination of the MOAs with respect to the cash
Yes.
requirement,
or of their cash requirement.
Their cash requirement.
And what happens if you have requested for that fund and you're not able to spend that for the period for which you requested it, the fund would automatically revert to the mother account
Yes, every 6 months.
every 6 months. And for you to access that fund again, you will have to
Make another request.
another request. Yes, exactly. So this is the single treasury account first adopted in the national government, if my memory serves me right, in 2011. Because I was executive secretary of the ARMM that time. They were trying to implement it in 2009 when we entered after the Maguindanao massacre in the BARM. I opposed the implementation of the single treasury account for BARM. And we managed to delay it for a period of 2 years. So when we were about to step out of the ARMM, national government imposed the single treasury account. And for purposes of our education, the single treasury account is resorted to by the national government to address borrowings by the national government because they are short with cash. So they don't have money. And to be able to force savings in government and not force government to borrow money, they imposed the single treasury account. Because what happens is if I release it to you, you don't utilize it, it reverts automatically to my account. So all accounts of government institutions in the Philippines is linked to the single account of the DBM. And when you are not able to spend it, the money automatically reverts to you. So this is a measure to address the issue of availability of cash at the national government. My question, as a matter of policy, is that are we short in cash in the region that we needed to resort to the single treasury account? As a fiscal measure to force savings?
First and foremost, no, we are not short of cash. Second, the reason why even without the stated reasons that despite that we have sufficient cash is that to promote again implementation readiness proposals. I mean to say so that we can prevent they will try to prevent the reversion of the cash back to the Bangsamoro Treasury account.
In reality, Mr. Speaker, the implementation readiness of the project proposed can actually be determined even before the release of the funds. Because we can do a technical review of the proposals and determine exactly on the basis of how the project is programmed, our actual experience in the region, and the result of an assessment of a very specific ministerial office in the few years that it has been implementing programs. So we can already determine that. My concern is that while we're trying to address that, implementation ready, the emphasis appears to be post facto, after the fact, after we have determined that they cannot do it on time. And what we do is to apply a financial measure of denying them the funds after we have in reality said, yes, this is implementation ready, but in reality, they cannot implement it. So we've imposed, in reality, a sanction when we fully understood from the very start it cannot be implemented from our technical assessment. The reason why I am saying this one is that perhaps it is important to understand the underlying principles for adopting some of these policies. And if indeed these policies would contribute to increasing the utilization rate of the region, because my personal assessment is that we are awash. We have cash. So we are not trying to borrow money. Our principal challenge is our capacity to disburse the funds and implement the projects. It is not about the need to save money so that we are not forced to borrow money. So some of these measures, my take is that I think we should thoroughly study this because these are measures adopted by the national government for a different reason. Not the reasons that we are exactly facing in the region, which is our inability to spend money. It's an issue of under disbursement. It's not an issue of shortage in money. And therefore, some of the policies that I think are being proposed now do not really address the issue of the region. Why do I say this? Because if you adopt the single treasury account, the ministry provides the document to our MFBM. MFBM says this is a go. We release the funds. In the end, he's not able to implement it. We take out the money. We bring it back to MFBM. We add additional work to the ministry already by asking them, you request it again, you provide us documents. And we burden again MFBM to review the document. And in reality, so we are adding more tasks to the already ministries, to the ministries that are already burdened with so much task that contributes to their inability to deliver the projects and spend the money. So I think it is important to look at policies and how it contributes to what we want to achieve in the region. Because I had a very bad experience in that one. It burdens the region then when we implemented the single treasury account by the national government.
Can you proceed now with the next question?
Yeah, I would just want to hear the sense of the proponent.
Proponent should give his sense.
For the adoption of the single treasury account, it is not it does not exclude the relaxation or the probability of relaxing the rule on regarding the reversion. And to say if we can still adopt the STA, despite the fact that that we could impose or state or craft rules regarding reversion, particularly addressed to whether the reversion would be done after a particular period of time, 6 months, 9 months. Upon observation that this measure, let's say the reversion would be done in 6 months, if it is would go against the very principle that to promote implementation rate or utilization rate, then we can relax the rule on the reversion.
Thank you, distinguished proponent. So we can adopt the single treasury account minus probably, or we can agree on a period, reasonable period by which we would revert the funds already downloaded to ministries, agencies, and offices.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
May I be clarified, but the proposed law states that it would be reverted if it's not spent within 6 months.
No, sir. What is stated here is that it shall revert, but there's no particular a number or period of time within which it could revert. It will be subject to the promulgation of the rules and regulations to be adopted by the Ministry of Finance, Budget.
There will be an IRR.
Yes, sir. Yes, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Thank you for that, distinguished proponent. Let me move to Section 31. This is the prohibition against the increase of appropriations. Essentially, I think this is from the Constitution. So we cannot increase the appropriation, but we are allowed to reduce the appropriations. Correct, distinguished proponent?
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Except that when we reduce the appropriations of a ministry, agency, or office, that reduced amount would have to be transferred to the contingent fund.
Yes, under Section 31, the corresponding reduction shall instead be made in the total appropriations of the MOA and shall be transferred to the contingent fund.
So in reality, there is no way we can reduce the proposed appropriations because it will just be transferred to the contingent fund.
The proposed appropriation of that particular ministry, offices or agency can be decreased, and the difference would be transferred to the contingent fund.
Yes, and which is my concern, because if the appropriations of a specific ministry, upon our examination in the Parliament, appears to be unreasonable, meaning the programs or the project being proposed is not favorable based on our assessment. So,
and
what
the
we do,
BUR is too low to give him an increased appropriation.
yes, but we cannot increase the whole appropriation. That's fine with me. My concern is that if, for instance, in the budget deliberation, a specific agency comes to us and presents its proposal, one of the proposals, for instance, a 100 million project, failed to convince the Parliament. So we are saying we don't approve that specific program or project because from our assessment, it is not reasonable or it will not contribute to the overall goal of the region. So we are taking out that appropriations. The concern for me is that even if we're empowered to take that out because we are not convinced with that proposal, what happens is that it will now be part of the contingent fund. A fund which do not have the specific programs, projects, or activities as proposed. Which to my mind is even worse than the proposal at least containing some details and we have the ability to examine it thoroughly. So I find it unreasonable to have a provision that says if a specific proposal fails, we will make it even more generic. You cannot take it out.
What if the contingent fund is dedicated to something, a general program of the Bangsamoro government?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, but it would not contain the same specific items, description, which is contained in a specific proposal from the agency. So if we are taking it out because we are not convinced with that proposal, why would we be forced to include that proposal, that money into the contingent fund, which is really generic?
At the outset, the hearing proponent would welcome any proposed amendments to allow the transfer or rather the appropriate change of any appropriations reduced from a particular MOA to another MOA and will not be constrained so that we will not be constrained that that particular difference would only be transferred to the lump sum appropriation of contingent fund. However, it is also the opinion of the hearing proponent that with respect to it being transferred to the contingent fund, it will prior to the release and as a requirement of the request, there must still be a the request must be accommodated or attached with the appropriate uh, budget execution documents, request, and if need be, all the details of that particular program's activities
Yes,
and
yes,
projects.
that is correct. So once it is transferred to the contingent fund, the way to access the contingent fund is to propose a specific program or project, and it will be reviewed. But this time around, it's not the Parliament reviewing it. The other concern for me is that if we force ourselves to park it in the contingent fund, what if there are other proposals by other ministries which are more reasonable? Should we not give leeway to the Parliament on the basis of its assessment to instead transfer from one agency to another agency the fund instead of just tucking it into the contingent fund?
As previously mentioned, we are open to a corresponding amendment allowing that the change in the appropriations, particularly moving the difference of that particular MOA to another MOA.
Thank you, proponent, because I think that's the more reasonable proposition and gives spirits to the power of the Parliament to determine which of the programs or projects are more reasonable rather than an automatic provision that says it will be tucked into the contingent fund. My other concern pertains to Bangsamoro government GOCCs. And there's a provision, I think in ano nga yung provision nyo doon sa pangungutang? I think in section 22, budgetary needs of Bangsamoro government owned or controlled corporations. In section 22. In particular, paragraph 3 or the last paragraph, it says, the provision reads, in no case shall the Bangsamoro government be liable for any implied guarantee asserted by any person or entity for any borrowing by any BGOCC. Any money paid by the Bangsamoro government under the authority of law and the expenses associated with the same shall constitute a debt due to the Bangsamoro government from the BGOCC for whose benefit the payment was made. Are we implying, so this one pertains to guarantees. So if we resort to borrowings through the Bangsamoro GOCC, so we don't have sufficient money, or we determine that it would be more reasonable to allow a BGOCC to borrow money instead of utilizing the money of the Bangsamoro government. Are we saying that there is no way we can create a regional guarantee for borrowings by BGOCC?
One minute suspension. Resume. Floor leader, this will be the last two questions. The last two questions for for the gentleman's interpellation. And then later we will suspend the session until tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, but we still have to and members of parliament who wishes to interpolate. But maybe we can do that tomorrow, Mr.
Tomorrow, the gentleman from Cotabato City can continue with his interpellation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So my question pertains to, I think it's just clarity in terms of the language. And I would just want to get the clarification from our distinguished proponents. Are we made to understand under Section 22 that the Bangsamoro government can in reality provide guarantee to the borrowings of its GOCC?
Yes. What is expressly precluded or prevented here is that in no case shall the Bangsamoro government be liable for any implied guarantee, but an express guarantee is allowed.
Yes. Meaning if we provide in the GOCC the authority to borrow, and we include in that legislation that for this GOCC, this set of borrowings we will guarantee, that is fine.
Yes.
But
correct.
for BGOCC already created and then makes a borrowing and there's no express provision in its charter, that one, we are providing a guarantee for its borrowing, or it did not sought the authorization of the parliament for a sovereign guarantee, for a subnational entity guarantee for that. That is not allowed.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification. In the first paragraph, this one pertains to the BGOCCs that are to be created. And it would appear to me that the parameters laid out in the first paragraph, and this one is enumerated by number. So you have A, the assets and resources of the Bangsamoro government are used efficiently to achieve the objectives and purposes for which they were originally designed and implemented. And B, the exposure of the Bangsamoro government to expenditures and express liabilities on account of operation of the BGOCC is warranted and incurred through prudent means to generate the level of social, physical, and economic returns vis-a-vis the resource inputs. Are we creating here the parameters for creating BGOCCs in the BARM?
These are mere principles for the adoption, for the eventual creation of the BGOCC.
Creation.
Yes.
And also the funding that may be provided by or technically capitalization that the Bangsamoro government may provide.
Yes, Honorable MP.
My concern is that I think there has to be a very specific parameters for creating BGOCCs. In particular, my concern is that if we create BGOCCs without specific criteria or limitations, we might in the end be creating GOCCs that would ultimately compete with private sector. And I think it may not be consistent with the policy that we wanted to pursue in the region.
Paragraph A and B of section of the first paragraph of section 22 particularly pertains or addresses the requirements for the operating budget of the BGOCC itself, and for the creation of the BGOCC itself, it will still be subject to the regular review, creating that that particular BGOCC.
Yes, but in terms of creating the capitalization or equity for it from the Bangsamoro government, this one appears to be some of the parameters
Yes.
now established.
Yes.
And my concern is that if these are just the parameters, we might end up creating, so like if we create Bangsamoro construction and supplies BGOCC, we will in the end be killing all the private contractors and suppliers in the region because it cannot compete with the BGOCC of the BARM.
For this particular provision, it only refers to the operating budget. Meaning to say, it will be these are the considerations when it goes through the process of funding the BGOCC itself, similar to that of the ministries, offices, and agencies, but not with respect to the creation itself of the BGOCC. Meaning to say, the functions of that particular.
Yes, but
BGOCC.
even then, I will probably introduce the amendment when we go to the amendment. My concern is that I think generally we create GOCCs for very specific ends that we want achieved, or in industries or in undertakings that are imbued with public interest. Classic example of that would be power generation or transport system. So if we say we create a GOCC that would establish and operate a railway system across the Bangsamoro, that is a GOCC which is imbued with public interest because the movements of person and the determination of how much would it cost for you to ride the train system in the Bangsamoro is imbued with public interest. So I would agree with that one. Or in pioneering industries, we can agree that we can create a GOCC for pioneering industries, industries that have not been explored by the private sector, either because the cost for doing it is excessively high, but it is important for the development of our region overall. So we can engage in pioneering industries. These are, I think, some parameters that may need to be considered for funding specific programs of BGOCC. So we've already created a BGOCC. In all likelihood, we would vest it with power to engage in certain undertakings or businesses. And they would propose, for instance, I am already a BGOCC. I would propose the setting up of retail stores across the region, which would compete with private sector. I think we should be very clear with certain limitations to ensure that we do not, in reality, undermine some of the sectors that we wanted promoted in the region as a matter of policy.
We would welcome welcome the proposal of amendments of Honorable MP Nagib Senarimbo pertaining to those concerns where we can set more parameters in order to limit what these particular BGOCCs are.
Thank you very much, distinguished sponsors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader, we will suspend until tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes,
And
Mr.
continue
Speaker.
with the interpellation on the same bill.
Yes, with that, Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend until tomorrow, 2 p.m.
Yes. The session is suspended until 2 o'clock in the afternoon.